Okay, the book that I chose is called Unlovable by Dan Yacarino. The reason that I chose this book was it was my favorite book growing up, not just because it had dogs and every kid loves dogs, but it also had a really great message behind it because it shows a pug who doesn't really have any friends, and all his animals that he lives with makes fun of him and doesn't include him in anything. And then one day he meets a dog that moves in next door, and he doesn't know what this other dog looks like, but he wants to be friends with him regardless, and the other dog wants to be friends with him, the main character, regardless. And so they have no idea what one another looks like and who they are, but they still want to be friends with them because of who they are as a person and that they're just good friends to one another. And I think it has a great meaning because no matter who you are, no matter what your race, gender, anything, you can be friends with somebody whether they're similar or different to you. And I think it has a great message. So the theme of the book is basically just being friends with somebody who's different than you and including people and just basically loving one another whether they're similar or different to you. An activity that I would do with my students would be give each student a different piece of colored paper, like instruction paper or something, and have them write something that's unique about them. For instance, if a student speaks a different language, or if they've traveled around the world, if they have something that's very unique or different about them, then they would write that on the piece of paper, and then we would put all the pieces together and make a sort of quilt, and we would put it all together. That way we could see what's similar and different about us in the class. I think it'd be a good way to show children that no matter who you are, you can be similar, you can be different to somebody, but there's always going to be something unique about you. Okay, so here's the book. Here's the cover, and it's called Unlovable. Okay, it says Alfred was unlovable. At least, that's what the cat told him every chance he got. You've got to be the ugliest mutt I've ever seen. No one could love you. Alfred tried his best to ignore the remarks, but it was difficult, especially since the cat had taught the parrot to say, "Unlovable, Squawk, unlovable," whenever Alfred walked by. The goldfish gurgled in agreement. But what was it that made him so unlovable? His snoring, the way he ate, his curly little tail? None of the neighborhood dogs would have anything to do with him. His mouth was too small to hold a ball, a big German shepherd sneered. His legs are way too short for running, snickered a greyhound. A paper poodle chuckled. Did you see that face? Beat it, Shrimp, growled a Doberman. You couldn't even scare a mailman. Alfred didn't like staying in the house since it was the cat that was always making fun of him. The parrot was always squawking unlovable, and the goldfish was always gurgling in agreement. So Alfred spent most of his time in the backyard. One day, a new family moved in to the house next door. Alfred tried to see if they had a dog who might be his friend, but he was too little to look over the fence. As he was sniffing around, he heard something on the other side. "Hello?" Alfred called. "Hi," came an answer. "I'm Rex. I just moved in. My name is Alfred," and without thinking, he blurted out, "I'm a golden retriever. Glad to meet you." Alfred and Rex talked for hours. Alfred said he'd like sleeping in the sun, dog food, and scratching. Rex did too. Rex said he hated baths and going to the bed. Alfred did too. It began to get dark. Soon it was time for dinner, and they both went inside. That night, Alfred thought about how much he liked Rex and how much they had in common. Then he thought about the fib he had told. Alfred was sure they'd be friends as long as Rex never saw how unlovable he was. The next day, when Alfred and Rex were chatting, a squirrel jumped onto the fence between them. They both barked at it. The squirrel took one look at Alfred and climbed up a tree. Rex said, "You sure showed that squirrel who's boss, Alfred." But Alfred was thinking, if Rex ever saw me, he'd run away too. "I'm going to dig a hole under the fence," Rex said one day. Then I can squeeze through your side and we can meet. Alfred heard Rex digging. When he heard Rex wiggle under the fence, he ran and hid behind a bush. He then heard Rex call, "Alfred, where are you?" Suddenly, Rex poked his head into the bush where Alfred was hiding. You look just like me," gasped Alfred. "Wow, this is great," said Rex. "You're not a golden retriever after all." Alfred had to laugh. Who cared what the others said? Rex was his friend, and Rex liked him just the way he was. Together, Alfred and Rex ran, they jumped, they played, and Alfred never felt unlovable again. So I really like the book for many reasons, but like I said, it has a great meaning because both of them wanted to be friends no matter what, and they both didn't care who the other was like. So I think this is a great book that I could use in my classroom in the future, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too.